Good afternoon, teacher and class. Today I am going to present the audiolinguistic methodology. Team number: Carlos Antonio, Arreola, Suriano, Crocker Sánchez, Pedro Ángel, de los Santos, Solís, Azucena, servidor, Hernández Enriquez, Pedro Damian. To know, to speak, three things are necessary: knowing how to think, knowing how to lead, and knowing how to be silent. Plutarch, en 2012. Consists in it is the didactic progression of structured linguistics and contracts and analysis in terms of the cognition of language and behavior as entered of listener. Sa method patent bit brought in 1964 appears as a consequence of the great interest given to the teaching of foreign language in the United States toward the end of the 50s.
Facebook's oral expression and compressions and pronunciations. Emphasize sentence production and has control over grammatical structures. Allows the learner to respond quickly and accurately with spoken language. Makes it possible to teach the language to large groups. Allows the development of communication skills through dialogues and skills and leads to the production of speech. It allows us to learn simple phrases for everyday situations.
Following video shows an example of the audiolinguistic methodology by Albert Brooks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The salesman says, "Good morning. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?"
Good morning. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Okay. House in town. Just say that much. House in town. The cleanest house in town.
The cleanest house in town.
Okay.
Counts. It is based on behaviors, views, student as passive recipients of information. Audiolinguistics methodology has lost popularity in recent years. Neglects the expression and comprehension of the written form. Grammar and vocabulary are taught for definite and limit verbs and with minimal interaction. Methodology audiolingual. Intensive use of their in oral practice. This allows us to develop listening comprehension and oral expression. Students listen to audio recordings and exercise the system to repeat and internalize the structures and vocabulary in English. Repetition activities and intensive oral practice are also used to reinforce language acquisition. Prioritize fluency and pronunciation. The main objective of this methodology is to achieve fluency and accurate pronunciation through constant oral practice.
The role of the teacher. The teacher models the target language and controls direction and passing and monitors and corrects student performance. Richards and Rogers. The teacher task is important since he must have full control over the mood, form, content of the lesson and know how to monitor the abilities of the students. The teacher also plays an important role as a motivator in the audiolingual methodology, since he constantly encourages students to learn. Practice in the classroom. Number 1. Dialogues and repetition exercise are the basis in the classroom. Number 2. Dialogues provide a context to the language and are used for repetition and memorization. Number 3. After reading a dialogue, the teacher selects some grammar points on which the different types of exercise are carried out. The role of the student. Number 1. Students listen to a dialogue and repeat the sentence. Number 2. The dialogue can be adapted to the interests of the students by changing some sentence. Number 3. Some dialogue structures are selected to carry out repetition exercise of different types. Number 4. Students open the textbook and do vocabulary or writing exercise. One of the activities that are frequently used today to teach English to children in the first year of basic education are children's songs. It is based on memorization, audiolinguistic practice, and the constant repetition of different words or sentences.
Vamos a cantar una canción para que recuerdes las frases.
Ajá, ajá. Vamos a cantar lo que hoy aprendimos en inglés. Sí, yo quiero cantar contigo, monosílabo. Hola, hello. Hola, hello. Hola, hola. Hello, hello. Encantado de conocerte. Nice to meet you. Encantado de conocerte. Nice to meet you. Hola, hola. Hola, hello. Hola, hello. Hello, hola. Encantado de conocerte. Nice to meet you. Hola a todos. Hello, everybody. Hola a todos. Hello, everybody. Hola, hola. Hola a todos. Hello.
Activity of this methodology. Example number 1. Listen and repeat play short recording of word phrase or dialogues in English and ask the student to repeat them aloud. This helps them improving their pronunciation and oral fluency. Number 2. Structured repetition, present specific, grammatical structured, and ask the student to repeat them in different contexts. For example, is your teaching the present simple? Give example of sentence in the present simple and ask the student to repeat them several times. Number 3. Question and answer. Ask question in English and ask the students to respond aloud. You can record the question and have the student respond using recording in oral interaction activities in class. Conclusion. In this methodology, the student role is passive. He responds to the stimulation offered without taking into account the content of what he practiced and without taking the initiative in interaction. The teacher has an active role proving simulation and is the one who controls and reading the evolution of learning. Charted activities of the audiolinguistic method, such as the structured exercise, have become integrated into a broader perspective of the language, sit and language in use. In is understanding knowledge and used to language require mastery, in addition to structural keywords on other reserve and other keywords typical of communication competence.